Flourish like Forrest Gump or sorted like Donald Trump. Of course your shit bumps in the trunk like a bumblebee or a humble tree or anxiety when you fumble for your keys. Ghost chose this coast of hopes as a clarifying grope at a goddess's rope tied to the most. Climbing down to the votes of your leader's gross handle on fallopian tubes just to boast on and on about how he can cope with a choke by God if only he had the woke nation croak due to pokes by dicks of toads. No princess wants to grow in this ferocious, emotionless dope sacrifices goats who gets tied down to posts of wood made into a cross. Jesus' death should have been the first thing we noticed as a loss. It wasn't hot, shouldn't be brought to the thought process unless the cops can stop it. Doubt it, they'd had already plowed in on horseback or something. If their morning hack wasn't plungin, we wouldn't let adjourned facts in the dungeons. Or porn jacket in the wondering of a little boy's mind who is trudging through with a cork in his hat and his knowledge pouring out like a college dorm dropout. Bombs above the crown never lobbed its way down to the mobs trying to be proud, standing up for loudness in the crowd seems bonded to be sour because convicts are too often found being products of a clown, trying to dodge bitches and be found as something better than a taunting from a hound. Shallow is your tangible freckles that meddle with love like petals to the metal, wallowing in the threshold of a love once tender and cool, now wet and cold, scarcely measurable and barely bendable. Perishable marital status belongs to withered holes and static filled with tears, beers, and weary fears, leading to tragedy like a dead battery when your tread matter to me. Because what once was a shed is now a majesty. What once was a thread of dread hanging over your head, now a hazard-free chasm of being that magically lasts past the bringing of woes and foes to every hammock we swing in, like masking the vast majority of poor piggies from the cast of our fine programming. Because we are done hoe-grabbing and poking and joking at the ones stabbing our families and gambling our grannies, losing constantly like a bot that has to pee. The slobs that have to wean off the green from the banks to buy lean, it's getting obscene how much they depend on their fiendish lifestyle being seen. Filled with greed, they sell their spleen to get clean, but the undertow of addiction leaves them plundering low in inhibition and hovering toward ambition with no tumbling hope to listen. They end up comfy though, which is sitting waiting for the next bumpy road to hit them. Torn to shreds in the end because miracles are spiritual and purity makes for dirty thieves. And life is usable and doable. It will never resonate with my cute fool rules made for little new jewel fools. So journey on, bury none, worry some and lurk the ones saying they'll murk you, son. Until jury's done, they can't hurt ye none.